Car-Rpc. Is this running on Teslas? Control your toy RC car with a chip and a Java server. Give it infinite range? What? Is this a perpetual energy machine? That's cheating? How is that cheating? It's not a contest. Give any hobbyist a person who loves to build things a platform to build on to make autonomous RC cars. RC car, a phone, and a computer. This project will work. Okay. One hell of a journey. Extreme. You can add your own features. Wow. It's like software is soft. Once they're read and able to handle multiple controller connections at once. Part of your knowledge, okay. Sign decisions, yada 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 yada. Components necessary. I have a smartphone, but it ain't Android. I guess I can't use it. Any electrically controlled car that expose the motherboard with and drives with servos and motors. Well, I got a motor, but no car. Guess I can. Nah, I don't have the parts to make a car. Look at code? Well, you didn't tell me what to look at. What do you want me to look at specifically? Where do you want me to start? What aspect of the code do you want me to think about? Because documentation is still part of your project, right? So, setup. Computer to host a server that will be doing most of the work. And Maven, okay. Android microcontroller we used. Wi-Fi compatible Arduino based microcontroller. So I guess the controller is wired up to the motors or something on the RC car. So you strap the Arduino on the RC thing. Then your phone talks to the Arduino, and the computer is also there for some reason, and it's doing I don't know what. What's the point of the computer if you have the phone and the Arduino? You have ESP8266 INO. Why is this called .ino? I'm not familiar with that. Permanent learning is part of the job and becomes a habit, just like eating and doing dishes. You're 15, or you're 15 factorial. Emulator is chilling. Cool. I didn't say I'll teach. I said we'll learn about it. I think. Well, I said we'll discuss it. Phone talks to server, server talks to car. You can be in different places. But isn't that true because you have Wi-Fi? C plus more library is INO. Huh? But this is C++. Okay. Did you just... Okay, well, what aspect do you want me to look at? Do we want me to look for bugs? Are you asking about style or performance or reliability or what? Is this the only file? I imagine no. Interface? Oh, that's the protobuf stuff. Reliability, okay. So who makes these things? Wi-Fi server, Wi-Fi client. Are those outside of your product? Or are those in libraries? From a reliability standpoint, it's a bad idea to have global variables with constructors because it can get unclear what order things are initialized in. If you have a function and a bunch of variables, it's clear what order things are initialized in. Often when you're refactoring code, like splitting things up into multiple files or moving things between files or reordering things, you aren't thinking the order of stuff matters. But if there's global variables that have constructors, the order definitely does matter. So to improve reliability, I would put these in like your setup function or something. I don't know. I imagine setup is only executed once. It's similar to a main function in hosted programs. So I would put initialization of this stuff in the setup routine. Input buffer length. Input buffer. So here, it's very easy to like use the wrong variable for the size. It's more gooder if this thing has an overload that takes an array reference. So you only give it the array and then it'll do the full array, but that's minor. Setup web server. So, I mean, you're already doing some of the web server stuff in there, so it should be easy to move the construction of the server here as well. So you send the HTML page, you read these args. toInt. So if toInt fails, what happens? Does it return 0? Does it throw an exception? If it throws an exception, what happens if an exception happens? Does the library send a 500 error to the client? Does it crash the whole program? Well, if it's -1, then that sounds like it might be an issue. Connector data less than or equal to. I don't know if -1 is fine or not. I don't know. Sending. I imagine this web server is HTTP, and so there's no, and you're not doing any authentication. So anybody with HTTP access could set these parameters on the server, which might be bad. On the controller, which might be bad. I don't know how. That's like a security issue, which is related to reliability, but worth thinking about. So is this running on a different thread or on the same thread as other stuff? Like not this function, but when does that request happen? Oh, you only. So it's on that one thread, I guess, and you're waiting for an SSID and a password. So if it was multi-threaded, then there would be concerns about synchronizing access to these variables. But they're single-threaded, so you're fine there. While it's okay. So while we're not connected to, so how can somebody access this web endpoint out if they can't use Wi-Fi? Is there like a USB thing or like an onboard Ethernet that you would use to configure this thing? Its own Wi-Fi network? Okay. Got it. That makes sense. Your string class seems really inconvenient to use. Like you have to remove this way. Is there no clear method? Like Wi-Fi SSID.clear? Because you could use that instead. That's just a style thing, but it may not be your fault. I don't know. Soft AP disconnect, true. So if any of these fail, I don't know what happens. Or what do you expect to happen? Do you have a catch-all that just reboots the whole thing? The whole program? If there's a uncaught error? So, Wi-Fi disconnect, clear that stuff, config the. So, like, it's confusing because you have Wi-Fi, but then there's another network controller. So there's two Wi-Fi things, right? There's one there's like the server, Wi-Fi server, or I don't remember what you call it, access point. And then there's the Wi-Fi client. And it's unclear, because this is interacting with both of them. And it's unclear which is which. So this is blinking the light, right? So wait a minute. It keeps trying until it connects. And if it fails to connect, you go all the way back up here. And if you succeed in connecting, you continue down here. Okay. Hello, willc.com. Is that an advertisement? willc.com. Is this your website? Eyeball. It's just an SVG? You turned off a bunch of stuff. Turned off the app. I can't edit it. Stupid DevTools. Bye. This looks cute. What's going on? We're looking at this remote controlled car controller. This is the code running on the microcontroller, which gets commands from an Android app or something on how to steer or whatever. Not sure yet exactly what it does, but we're taking a look at the code. Hello, OGs. So this is the server, but now I'm confused. I thought we had the server running because we ran this web server to run the Wi-Fi server. Or is this yet another thing? I'm confused. Either you have 3 Wi-Fi related things that are different, or you have 2 and I'm just confused. So while we are still connected to the configured Wi-Fi, may I ask a question? You just did. You have permission to ask another question. Yeah, that's what this is doing up here, but now then we say Wi-Fi server begin. What is this doing? Because we've already established a connection. We've already accepted the configuration using our Wi-Fi server, our Wi-Fi access point. And then we established a connection with that Wi-Fi access point. We established a connection to the thing we were told to connect to. And then what is this? Now what is Wi-Fi server? How is it different from Wi-Fi or web server? This gets commands from the Why is it called Wi-Fi server? How is it different from Wi-Fi client? What is Wi-Fi client? Oh, okay. So I think it's just you name things oddly. That this Wi-Fi is unrelated to this Wi-Fi, and this Wi-Fi is slightly related to this Wi-Fi. But they're really talking all about different things. This is... No, actually, these are talking about the same thing. My bad. but this is different from this. So this is the network, like the so you have the administration network, which is the controller has an access point, and it has administration commands, so you can customize this thing. You can send configuration to it. Then there's the controlling or commander Wi-Fi network. And then once you're connected to the commander Wi-Fi network, you make a commander server and a commander client. Well, you make a commander server and accept connections, and then when you make a connection, you have this commander client. I'm calling it commander client thing, which is supposed to give you commands. So I would name it something different, like what I just said, to make it clear, because you call them all Wi-Fi things, but there's multiple Wi-Fi things going on. It's weird to say, once you're connected to Wi-Fi, start the Wi-Fi server. Because haven't you already started the Wi-Fi server if you've connected? You know. So, I don't know why this is a global variable. I guess, yeah, I don't know why it's a global variable, but sure. I mean, most of this can be not a global variable, but maybe there's good reasons for that. I don't know. So, I'm unsure why you set no delay false here and set no delay true here. I don't know what no delay is. Is that TCP no delay? What does it mean to set TCP no delay for a server? I don't understand this. How's it going? It's going all right. Going all right. So while we're connected to that fella, so what's interesting is here we're not running the web server at all. So once you're connected to a Wi-Fi thing, you can't change what Wi-Fi. You got to reboot in order to change what Wi-Fi it's connected to. Which is odd. If we have, what does this mean? Why, if it's connected, why would it be unavailable? What's the difference between available and connected? Full request init default Wi-Fi read input buffer. I don't know what this means. Is this a Boolean parameter? What is available? I'm confused. Maybe this is not a Boolean? Can you link me to documentation for Wi-Fi client? Boolean parameters make no sense. So it'd help if I could see the documentation. Decode full request fields. Got a symlink. Symlinks don't work on Windows, so that's a minor issue. Or they're not great on Windows. Whoops. Oh, it's part of Arduino? I honestly didn't know that Arduino had Wi-Fi stuff. Is this it? That's it? Wi-Fi client. Why isn't... Turns the number of bytes available for reading. So it's not a Boolean. So here you're not verifying that available is less than the input buffer size. So that's a reliability issue and a security issue. So definitely bounds check your stuff. Also note that the return value potentially could change every time you call it. So call it once and put the result in a variable and then use that variable. Otherwise you'll have the time of check, time of use errors. Aggressively. So we were looking at the protobuf stuff. So full requests. All for now. Well, duh. No need for that comment. So you have, and you return some metrics. Hard-coded during testing. Yep. So you read the requests, but you don't dispatch. You don't do anything with the requests, right? I guess you didn't implement that yet. But then you write the metrics out as a message. So you're not doing any framing or anything. So I don't know if protobuf has internal framing. It would write the values from the yeah, but it's not doing it now. So it looks like it's not complete. So it looks like it's only accepting a connection from one client at a time. It's not doing any authentication checks on the client to make sure it's like you could have some weird program on your network that tries to connect to this and sends garbage data, and maybe that'll do all sorts of stuff, but at the very least it would deny service to your controller because you only work with one client at a time. You can't manage multiple clients, so you have a denial of service issue there. I mean, you would also have denial of service if you had multiple connections, but like let's say you connected with your Java server and everything's going fine, and then you want to connect to another client to issue commands. You can't. even if the first server is idle. So that could be annoying. But from a reliability standpoint, it would feel less reliable or more janky because one connection can hang up other connections. But fixing that significantly increases the complexity of the stuff going on.